Meg, can you touch on socially conscious and what that means to you? Because I know some people hearing that may think something different. So, what does that mean for you and your
Yeah,
brand?
I do have a blog post about it. I wish I could pull it up right now so I could do my speaking points. But what socially conscious means to me, it means a desire to be more ethical in business. And it doesn't mean that you have to be the winner of the woke Olympics, but it means that like you're empathetic and you want to use your business as a vehicle to change things and make things better. And you're willing to listen and like not necessarily get defensive if you realize that what practices you're doing like are rooted in like status quo and like kind of problematic. Like for me, being socially conscious, it doesn't, there aren't like certain boxes that you have to check, but it's an openness to learn how to do better for humanity, especially for people on the margins that that aren't being taken care of by
Hmm.
like society. And I think we have an opportunity as entrepreneurs to do better.
Welcome to the Analytical Rewired, the best place to discuss various obstacles, limitations, challenges, behaviors, and how to overcome them in business. We deep dive into the complexities of people, processes, data, and technology, PPDT, adopting our focus to be either technical or creative expressions, and how to balance the two. The Analytical Rewired is brought to you by the MJW Group, a performance improvement and leadership development boutique management consulting firm that helps companies save time and money leveraging operational excellence. Our mission is to enable your organization to be more successful by refining overarching strategies into detailed plans to be implemented, generate creative and technical solutions for your operational challenges, augment and supplement your existing teams, and help you create processes that allow you to be more efficient with the resources you have. You can learn more about the MJW Group on our website at themjwgrp.com.
Welcome to the Analytical Rewired. I'm your host, Jennifer White, CEO of the MJW Group, and I have my co-host here, Sarah Ashley. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm excited for today's conversation
Ew.
because it's been the topic for the last 18 months. Um, so our guest here, Meg Kay, she's going to get into what she does with her firm. So Meg, how are you?
I'm doing well, Jennifer. How are you doing?
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you on. So glad to see you because you've played an instrumental part in where we are today with the MJW group. And time really, really does fly extremely fast.
It really does. And I'm so honored to hear that. And I am just really happy to be here. Highlight of my week, arguably my month.
Yes, yes. So, in the spirit of prosperity and abundance, it is a new month. Today's September 1. So when this goes live, just so everybody knows, it's September 1st, and I do believe in new beginnings and new months, just time to reset. So Meg, why don't you tell us about your company, who you are, where you live, all things about you.
Yes. Okay. So, hi, everyone. I'm Meg Baker. I'm the founder of Meg K and Co. And we're a hiring agency for socially conscious businesses, essentially, small emerging businesses that want to do things ethically and want support in hiring. That's what I'm here for. I'm based in Chicago, Illinois. I have a kid and a dog. But really, like one of my biggest pride and joys, apart from being a dog and kid parent, is um, having this company and getting to work with folks like that, like Jennifer, and building your companies and seeing your visions come to fruition. So, yeah, I'm just really excited to be here.
Awesome. Hopefully you guys can tell how warming she is. And I think that's because of your background. So talk about before you started your company, what you used to do.
Yeah. So, before I started my company, I was a teacher. I was a high school French teacher, and then I was also a third grade teacher in a charter school in my hometown of St. Louis. So my background is in teaching. I don't have any degrees in HR whatsoever, but I do have a master's degree in education. And that just kind of with my personality and my experiences makes me really good at assessing what my clients need, and also like deeply vetting and assessing candidates and kind of thinking outside of the box when it comes to hiring and recruiting.
Yeah, that's why I started the show with saying it's been the topic for the last 18 months. So I'm hoping you can shed some light, because when we started working with Meg like a year, no, I think it was last July. I think we started
Yeah,
in
so about a year
July,
ago, a little over a year
and it
ago.
took us about 2 months. Just back then, like we didn't know what was happening. Like it was like the onset of this hiring like challenge that everybody's going through.
Yep.
And looking back at it, hindsight, it makes sense what was starting to transpire back then. And I know for us, we reached out to you because we didn't know what to do, like
Right.
where to start. When we made the decision to start hiring, full time, we were like, what are we supposed to do? And I saw Megan out there in the Facebook streets, and I
Yeah,
reached
in the
out to
Dubsado user group.
you remember that? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, I just reached out. I was like, hey, I've been kind of lurking around, following you for a little bit. Like, can we have a chat? And she's like, yes, of course.
Yes. Yeah, so much has happened in the world and with hiring. And I can kind of share what shifts I've seen in the recruiting industry.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
cool. So some things that I've noticed, it's really a candidate's job market. And as an employer, you have to find ways to stay competitive, like against other companies that are looking to hire the same talent that you are. And you can stay competitive, whether it's your culture, any flexibility you can offer, pay, benefits. But I want to add too that a lot of times a barrier or like kind of a mindset barrier for business owners is if they don't have the capital to stay super competitive with pay and benefits. And yeah, you are going to lose some candidates if you can't compete. But I do want to say though, is that if you don't have the resources for competitive pay, you can stay competitive in the market by being open to people with transferable skill sets that you can train, but you have to be willing to take chances on people and teach them. And in this sphere of kind of more emerging companies, I think this is a huge opportunity for business owners and job seekers alike. And it also, I can't go on a podcast and not talk about equity and anti-racism,
Right.
especially when it comes to hiring, but this helps level the playing field too, because a lot of groups have been excluded from a lot of opportunities. And this is an opportunity for us to not only do the right thing by leveling the playing field, but I think this is I think it's smart business. And now more, and I also want to say, all this to say too, is you have to be creative and somewhat flexible to stay competitive. But now more than ever, job seekers are, especially in the Gen Z and millennial generations, they're highly motivated by values alignment, with their companies, and feeling a greater purpose and a greater impact and having more agency in their work. So even if we can't give competitive benefits, these are other things that we in businesses like ours can offer, and that's how we can stay competitive.
100%. I feel the same way. I was working at a leasing office prior to this. I've lived many lives, but right before joining the MJW Group, I was working at a leasing office, and I was also working initially part-time for the MJW Group. And what kind of made me want to shift into full-time was the values. It just felt like it was a little bit more of a fulfilling job for me personally. And that, I don't know, I just vibed well with the whole crew. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to make the leap. I'm leaving this to join this team.
Well, and then when you join
just
teams
more
like, right. And when you join teams like Jennifer and Marcus's that are like disruptive and like making a difference, there's also opportunity for growth too. It's kind of a good investment of your own time. And I love that you're in leasing. I love talking to like property managers and like candidates who do leasing, because I'm like, oh, you know how to project manage. Like I love finding folks like you for my project management jobs. So it's thinking outside the box and finding ways to bring people in who have these transferable skills and who want to make that kind of move and who are willing to take that risk.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I hope our audience of small business owners is definitely listening to the bars that Meg is speaking, because we had to do all those things in a bag of chips and salsa and queso dip that she's talking about. And I mean, Meg, you'll be pleased to hear that we have a 401k plan set up now.
Amazing. You did that all in a year, Jennifer. You did it in a year.
We have some cafeteria plans set up with long-term, short-term disability and life and AD&D.
And you did that in a year.
Yes. And it was so scary. That's what I was saying. Like a year ago, oh my God, I was like, where do we even start? But you're right. Like trying to think of creative ways to attract the talent. And like Sarah said, I'm glad to hear her mention that, because we are different and some people don't vibe with us, and that's fine. We talk about all things woo-wooing and creating and manifestation and, you know, being the creator and maker of your own reality. And for some people, they don't vibe with that, and that's fine. They're just not going to be our people. But realizing that, you as a business owner, you do have options. Like you don't have to do the traditional ways of hiring and recruiting, like you're saying. Like I didn't realize that until we did meet you. So I just want to say thank you for that.
That means so much. Thank you.
Cry.
And I know it's a big, scary step I know I'm going to cry too. Oh my gosh. It is a big, scary step. But when you have this belief in yourself and you have enough receipts and proof that that you have offers that sell and that you can scale and you can do it sustainably, it's so scary to take that step, especially with employees. Like it feels like going from renting an apartment to like buying a house. And but you're like building equity. This is a dumb metaphor of mine, but you're like building equity in something, and there's a lot at risk. But at the end of the day, Jennifer, I imagine things feel a lot better now, support wise, than they did a year ago.
Oh yes, they have. And I guess like I've just been open to listening and hearing what other business owners have gone through with their hiring challenges. And that's what I was saying, like the last 18 months, I think it's just been a whirlwind. We all shared similar stories and activities. I mean, the hire that you did find for us, that didn't work out. And it was like, oh my God, like up to the ninth, like seriously, Sarah, it was like, he accepted the offer, did the background check, and it was like literally we were getting ready to mail the laptop and computer equipment, and they're like, I'm not coming anymore. Like, I'm not joining the team.
Oh gosh.
So it was like the rug.
That's a nice hour right there.
It was. I remember I was like getting my hair done, and then I saw the email come through on my phone. I was like, oh my God. Like
and it is such a mind melter, but like people operations, dealing with people, it's the only way I know to grow. And some of that comes with some of these disappointments. Or Jennifer, the employees that you knew, that blew up, and I have a different employee now, but like, it's fine. I learned, and like, but I have the processes in place, and but that's why it can be really helpful to have support, especially when you're first navigating it. And even if it didn't work out, like then you realize the process, even if it's different from like the status quo, you find the process that's equitable and feels good to you and works for you. And then you repeat it as needed to get your company staffed.
Do you see why we gel with Meg because she speaks our language.
I know. Well, you know what?
I love it.
When Marcus first started talking about divergent, I'm like, what's this guy talking about? But then I'm like, yes, I am divergent too, Marcus. I'm like, I found my people. Yes.
I love
Go ahead,
it.
Sarah.
I love it. Now, I was just going to ask about kind of throughout this process, what have you had to rewire in your business or in your thinking?
Yeah. So I feel like my big rewires have been like my mindset and my attitude. And I kind of hate the word mindset, but I just got to say it. But I've had to accept that I'm wired differently and that it's actually a gift. And it's not a bad thing. So like before I talk more about like what I had to rewire, I want to talk about a question that you guys sent me that like an important lesson that I've learned. And this really goes into like what I've had to rewire, but I've learned that I'm not for everyone. But the people I am for, they need me and they need me to keep going and keep following my instincts and keep doubling down on my equity values. Yeah. And I learned that I'm pretty weird, quirky, but that makes me great at my job. Like I am perceptive, I'm empathetic, I'm good at connecting with candidates and clients. And like I'm publishing a blog today on my website, kind of talking about like neurodiversity and kind of what makes us different. And like in this past year, I've come out as queer. I also realized when my kid got diagnosed autistic that I'm definitely also autistic. I have ADHD, but like I'm owning these identities and it just feels so freeing. And like some people, and I mentioned this in a blog on my website, like have written me off as being unprofessional because of like typos or like not wearing makeup or like having my hair look a certain way. And like that really messed with a lot, but I'm realizing I don't care. Like, but then knowing that people like Jennifer and Marcus exist who value my work, who are doing really wonderful things, who are aligned with me, I just don't really give a shit anymore if I'm not for everyone. And so that was like a big rewire that I had to make, that in my attitude, that I'm accepting that I'm wired differently and it's a gift and it's not a bad thing. And like I quietly did hiring for a couple of years prior to now. And I was like really humble, and I still try to have that humility so I can grow, and I never want to stop growing and evolving. But I have enough evidence gathered now for myself that I need to proceed confidently and double down on my stances. And my belief that humanity is ready to like rewire and change how they do business and move away from oppressive and like, I'm just going to say it, racist status quo, and like into the modern times.
Yeah.
So I've decided
I said it this time, Jennifer. Bars.
I had to take a deep breath.
Me too. You guys, I wrote these. I was really thoughtful of my responses. I wrote them out ahead of time because I wanted to make sure I said things correctly. But I'm at a point now where I am strengthening my brand message and I am unapologetic about it. I have no fucks anymore.
I love it. And I also, that kind of goes back though, it's why did we assume that professionalism means having straight hair or, your makeup done, or
it's colonizer behavior. It's the colonizing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, where did that come from? I don't think being professional means you look a certain way.
No,
or you act a certain way.
And it shouldn't. But unfortunately, this is kind of shady, but a lot of the people who are white like me and are like, yes, like I want to be woke, but then they also still have these attitudes of like marginalizing people who are different or who don't fit exactly how they are. And I know I've made people uncomfortable because I don't adhere to like how they do business, or like how I don't do typos and I'm so this way and that way. But I've decided that I can be myself and have typos, but still like give a shit about my clients, and like I can fix typos later if you tell me they're there. Like, I'm so sorry, but like there's more to me than sorry that my ADHD and my like legit disability keeps me from fitting in your box, but fuck that.
Meg, can you touch on socially conscious and what that means to you? Because I know some people hearing that may think something different. So what does that mean for you and your brand?
I do have a blog post about it. I wish I could pull it up right now so I could do my speaking points. But what socially conscious means to me, it means a desire to be more ethical in business. And it doesn't mean that you have to be the winner of the woke Olympics, but it means that like you're empathetic and you want to use your business as a vehicle to change things and make things better. And you're willing to listen and like not necessarily get defensive if you realize that what practices you're doing like are rooted in like status quo and like kind of problematic. Like for me, being socially conscious, there aren't like certain boxes that you have to check, but it's an openness to learn how to do better for humanity, especially for people on the margins that aren't being taken care of by like society. And I think we have an opportunity as entrepreneurs to do better and to like do this cultural zeitgeist of like giving a fuck.
I agree. I just can say from my own journey, I'm just now getting to that point where I don't care what other people think, and their opinion is not needed, honestly, because where we're going, they can't help me. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you're saying, like work with the people who value your work. We have a requirement for clients and people on our team. They have to be willing to embrace change, because like you say, it's like it's not a race to be woke. You know what I mean? And it's not a race for us, for people to say, yeah, I'm willing to do what it takes to get here in our transformation, or to implement this new technology, or to develop processes that haven't existed before. But when it comes time to start doing it, the execution piece, it's like, oh, I didn't really think y'all really meant that. I thought you were going to do it all for me. I'm like, no, that's not how this works.
No, but I think, Jennifer, that's also our opportunity to keep our employee engagement high by finding the people who are willing to make these changes and who like being able to make decisions. And I think that's how we keep employees engaged, because there's a lot of talk in the media right now about like quiet quitting.
Oh gosh, I saw that.
But I think a big thing is employee engagement. And I think when we stick true to our values and really truly give care deeply for the work that we do and the clients that we serve, if we bring in the right employees, they're going to be bought in and they're going to be engaged. And that's one way that you have like good management, because while yes, we don't want to be oppressive, we still have to manage our employees and have businesses and have expectations and have them meet milestones and stuff. But I think when we cut out the noise of people, I mean, I have my haters out there, and that's fine. But, you know, I've been so lucky over the past couple of years to work with people, especially like you and Marcus, who see the value in what I do, who have cheered me on when I didn't always believe in what I was doing, and who I can make changes for because I'm unapologetically showing up as myself and unapologetically doing my best to serve my clients, because because it just feels right. And it keeps me engaged and motivated to show up every day, even when stuff gets scary, in business ownership.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm not crying.
I know. I was like,
absolutely not.
Oh
I knew I was going to make this weird somehow. I'm like, I had everything scripted. I'm like, you're going to be so normal, Meg. And I'm like, no, it's going to make it weird.
So Meg, where are you now in your business? I know you've had some obstacles recently with you building your team. So where are you now on that journey?
Yeah. So I'm kind of, as we go into Q4, my Q4 last year was so slow. But I'm prepared financially to have a slow quarter if I need to, and we'll be okay. But also kind of keeping my options open if there's like any different like consultation projects we can do. We're actually going to work with a veterinary clinic, a nonprofit one in Orlando that they've been trying to recruit vets. But so we're going to do, Paris, my employee, and we're going to do a one-off project with them, helping them revamp their job ad, and do some recruiting strategy for them too. So really, I've been kind of doing a slow and intentional grow. I worked really hard this year to get out of some business debt, and I did it mostly by myself. Yeah. And then I have a part-time employee now, Paris. They have they, she pronouns. They're really amazing and really bought in and just so great for our clients. And our synergy is just so good and positive, and not toxically so, but I'm kind of keeping an open mind for what's next, but just being really intentional and really mindful. And just, I don't know, thanking my lucky stars when very aligned clients come to me. And now that I have support from Paris on really high touch supporting of my clients, I've been working on more intentionally marketing and getting some copywriting help with my blogs and my newsletters, and doubling down on my brand and on my messaging. So I don't really know what's next, but it's kind of been a stabilizing year for me, and just unapologetically being myself and learning that that's kind of my best asset in business right now.
Nice. Any other questions, Sarah, you have for Meg?
I think so. I've loved this conversation.
Me too.
Had great ones recently.
I'm so glad you say that. I'm very happy to be here. And Jennifer, I just want to say too that I remember even a year ago how validating it was for me to know you and meet you, and to have you remind me that what I was doing was important, and like I'll never forget that. And I appreciate that so much, and I appreciate having had the opportunity to work with you.
Thank you, Meg.
Are you crying?
No, I'm not.
Me neither.
I'm not gonna cry. I appreciate it so much. Please share with the audience how they can reach out to you, and do you have any promos or any discounts or any last minute tips you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, so I do have a free download called 5 Ways to Build a More Diverse Team. And I sent the links over to Sarah. And then if you go to my website, and if you look under my Done For You hiring, you can book a free 30-minute consultation with me, whether or not you think you're ready to pull the trigger on getting someone like me to hire for you. I'm available to chat, and happy to get those consultations. So yeah, check me out on the internet at megkco.com and on Instagram at megkco.
Awesome. And she has great content. Her website is awesome as well. I peep on there every now and again to see what you got going on.
Thank you. That was part of the reason why I was in debt this year, because I invested in it, but it looks so good. So I don't care. It's fine now.
Well, Meg, thank you so much. We may have to have you on again to see, how things are going for you and the company, and just get an update, on what's been going on out here in the world with all these hiring woes. But we definitely appreciate you. Everyone, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate your engagement. Thanks again, Meg. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Of course.
All right. See everyone in the next episode.